الكريم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى ال سيدنا ومولانا محمد وبارك وسلم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي سبحانك لا علم لنا الا ما علمتنا انك انت العليم الحكيم وتب علينا انك انت التواب الرحيم. Continuing in our discussion of Riadulsaleheen. Last week we didn't have it because the power was out. So alhamdulillah, this week Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the tawfiq to discuss the ahadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam again. And we are in the chapter of sidq, of truthfulness. And remember, we had stated that truthfulness, it's something that's more broad than we think. It's not just truthfulness in speech. Truthfulness is an act of the heart. When a person has an intention or a person has a thought that I'm going to do such and such thing for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do they actually do it? This is what sidq is. This is what truthfulness is. So the ahadith that we see, inshallah, this week, there'll be 3 of them, and we'll finish off this chapter if Allah wills. They'll show different aspects of this truthfulness. Sometimes by tongue, sometimes in heart, and in action. So the first hadith, al-Rabi', the 4th in the chapter and the first we'll be discussing today. عن أبي ثابت وقيل أبي سعيد وقيل أبي الوليد. So over here there's a disagreement or difference of opinion amongst the scholars over the kunya of this Sahaba. Is he known as Abu Thabit or Abu Sa'id or Abu Walid? Right? Now, why would there be this disagreement? This means that, remember, there's 2 types of Sahaba. Some of them are more famous by their kunya than their actual name. Like Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, for example. Or Abu Huraira radiallahu anh. Very few people know Abu Bakr radiallahu anh's real name. What is his real name? Abdullah bin Quhafa. A lot of people, they don't know that, right? Abu Huraira, what's his real name? Abdul Rahman bin Sakhr. But most people, they don't know that. They know him as Abu Huraira. Other Sahaba, they're very well known by their name, but they're not so well known by their kunya. For example, what is Umar radiallahu anh's kunya? Abu Hafs, mashallah. What is Ali radiallahu anh's kunya? No, he goes by Abu Turab though, right? Because sometimes the kunya is also based on, a quality of the person, right? Abu Turab. Sometimes the kunya is given if the person has a daughter first. They do it after the daughter. Others say no, wait until the son, they have a son and they name it. Sometimes even, different. One of my teachers, his first son's name is Safwan. So when Safwan was born, everybody started calling his mother Sufyan, but they didn't call him Safwan. Then he had a second son, Nu'man, so they started calling Abu Nu'man. Right? Maybe because Imam Abu Hanifa is Abu Nu'man. For that reason, wallahu a'lam. So I didn't even know he has a son named Safwan until later on. And Safwan is the oldest, right? Maulana Safwan, scholar, inshallah. Okay? So this Sahabi, he's more well known by his actual name. So what was this Sahabi's name? Does anyone know? Abu Thabit or Abu Sa'id or Abu Walid? What is his actual name? Sahal bin Hunayf radiyallahu anhu. Now this name might not be heard so much, but he was a very important Sahabi, very close to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He fought in the battle of Badr and he fought in all of the other battles after that with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Along with that, when the Sahaba radiallahu anhu, when they fled in the battle of Uhud, when there was confusion, Sahal bin Hunayf radiallahu anhu, he stood with Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Just like how Talha radiallahu anhu and Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhu and a few other Sahaba stood with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and didn't go anywhere. Despite arrows coming at them, vicious attacks coming on them, they didn't go anywhere. Sahal bin Hunayf radiallahu anhu, he was amongst the Sahaba who stayed with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. After Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam passed away, Ali radiallahu anhu eventually made him the Khalifa of Medina when he left for Kufa. Ali radiallahu anhu, he went to Kufa, he moved the seat of government there, and he made Sahal bin Hunayf his governor in Medina. And when Sahal radiallahu anhu, he eventually left from there, and he passed away in Kufa. And Ali radiallahu anhu, he led the janazah. And instead of saying takbir, how many times do we say it in the janazah? 4 times, right? He said it 6 times. And he said that, innahu badriyun. This is a Badri Sahabi, so I'm going to give him extra honor. Ali radiallahu anh. This Ali radiallahu anhu's ijtihad. Me or you, we can't do it. We can't say that, so and so person, I liked him more, he was nice to me all of these years. so I'm going to I'm going to read extra takbir. We can't do that. That was Ali radiallahu anhu's ijtihad. Right? So 6 times he did takbir. He said, Innahu Badriyun. He's a Badri. And he narrates 40 ahadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So this hadith, what does he say? وَهُوَ بَدْرِيٌّ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ أَنَّ النَّبِيَّ صلى الله عليه وسلم قال مَنْ سَأَلَ اللَّهَ تَعَالَى Whoever asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what? الشهادة, to be a shaheed, بِصِدْقٍ, with truth. Meaning that the person makes dua every day, oh Allah, make me a shaheed. But the second that something occurs that gives him an opportunity to become a shaheed, and of course there's conditions. We're not, this is on YouTube now, right? So we're not promoting any vigilante violence or a person just going and deciding I'm going to hurt innocent people and be a shaheed. But there's conditions where a person can become a shaheed. If that opportunity actually arises, بِصِدْقٍ بَلَّغَهُ اللَّهُ مَنَازِلَ الشُّهَدَاءِ Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will cause this person to reach the ranks of the shuhada. وَإِن مَاتَ عَلَى فِرَاشِهِ Even if this person passes away on their bed. But this goes back to actually having a resolve in your heart. It's easy to say something. Somebody can be like a lion, a share, and talking all of this, and talking so rough and fierce. And the smallest thing happens, and that person, you see that they're hiding, that they're running away, that they're making excuses for themselves. Right? Not like that. If the opportunity arose, the person would fight. Right? So وَإِن مَاتَ عَلَى فِرَاشِهِ Even if they pass away on their bed, they'll get the rank of the shuhada. Perfect example of this is Khalid bin Walid radiallahu anhu. Khalid bin Walid radiallahu anhu, he's like real undefeated. Undefeated before Islam and after Islam. He never lost. Yet he was wounded so many times. What happened? He died on his bed. And when he died on his bed, he's crying, he's saying, Ya Allah, I'm dying on my bed like this, but there's not a part of my body that hasn't been wounded in your path, right? You think he won't get the rank of the shuhada? He's safe, Allah, right? This teaches us as well. We should have big niyat and big goals and big intentions, but we should have full resolve that we're going to do that. And then inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us the reward, even if we don't. In another hadith, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says that إِنَّ صِدْقَ الْقَلْبِ سَبَبٌ لِبُلُوغِ الْأَرَبِ That truthfulness of heart is a means of a person reaching their goals. وَأَنَّ مَنْ نَوَىٰ This is the mazmoon, like the mazmoon of the hadith, summary of the hadith. وَأَنَّ مَنْ نَوَىٰ شَيْئًا مِنْ عَمَلِ الْبِرِّ And if a person, if they intend any action that's good, أُثِيبَ عَلَيْهِ They'll be given the reward. وَإِن لَمْ يَتَّفِقْ لَهُ عَمَلًا Even if the person isn't given the ability to carry out the action, they're given the reward immediately. So make that intention right now. On Friday, for example, this event, you're going to donate so and so much money. Maybe you don't have the money at the time. Maybe something comes up and you won't be able to come. Allah will give you the reward right now, right? If you make the intention and if the opportunity actually arises, you go ahead and you fill it out. This is what it teaches us. One other thing, there's a hadith, and I'm just summarizing, that if a person dies and it never crossed their mind that they would fight jihad, then they're very far from Jannah. I'm just summarizing. Hadith is in Muslim Sharif. So a person should think that if the opportunity arises, I will struggle for the deen. Whether it's by hand, whether it's by mouth, whether it's by propaganda and writing against things that are wrong, but any opportunity that comes to defend the deen, I will do it. Sometimes we get so happy in our comfortable lives and just praying our salahs and this and that. And again, disclaimer, we're not promoting any violence. We're just saying if something happens, right? We get so caught up in our lives and our ibadah, we never think, what are we going to do to defend the deen if we need to? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the rank of shuhada. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us shuhada. Moving on to the next hadith. Yes. Rawahu Muslim. That hadith is narrated by Imam Muslim. Al-Khamis, number 5. An Abi Hurairah. I just told you, what is Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu? What is his name? Abdul Rahman bin Sakhr. Good. Radiyallahu anhu qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, Ghaza nabiyyu min al-anbiya. One of the anbiya, he went out for a battle. Salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhim. May Allah's mercy and peace be upon all the prophets. فَقَالَ لِقَوْمِهِ He said to his nation, لَا يَتْبَعَنِّي رَجُلٌ مَلَكَ بُضْعَ امْرَأَةٍ وَهُوَ يُرِيدُ أَن يَبْنَى بِهَا وَلَمَّا يَبْنِ بِهَا or walam yabni biha, right? No one should join me on this battle. Nobody should join me on